Hello, and welcome to our second episode of Techstrong AI podcast. I'm excited to be here today with Mike Vizard, and I am Amanda Razani. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Amanda. How are you?
Doing well. So we have a lot to discuss today in the AI world, and let's start with the anxiety amongst employees about implementing AI. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that there's this EY survey on Techstrong.ai that we covered, and it was kind of interesting because it shows that employees are starting to figure out that, well, the cheese is going to be moved, and a lot of them are getting a little anxious about the job functions and roles they have, and it's understandable. But I wonder if they are more anxiety than they realize is necessary, because I'm still not buying into the notion that Gen AI is going to magically eliminate millions and millions of jobs. I think there's going to be fundamental changes in those jobs, and roles will adjust, and people will need to figure out how to, do things differently. But I would also say it's fair to say that managers kind of suck at this change management thing, at this level of scale. I don't think a lot of them have thought through what the implications are and how the organization will proactively respond. So I got a feeling a lot of people are thinking about AI now as something that's about to happen to them rather than something that happens for them. And we need to, as leaders, do a better job of having a conversation with folks about how their jobs might evolve and how to make things more interesting and be more productive and drive more value to the business. We just can't ignore it. But I think a lot of even the managers themselves are probably worried about what does AI mean for their job functions and roles. And it's a little hard to get past your own fears sometimes to consider everybody else's concerns. But it seems to me we're at some sort of pivotal moment from a society level. I don't know. What's your take?
Definitely. I mean, all the business leaders are trying to harness AI for better efficiency, better financial situations, and better customer service. So, of course, there's a lot of change management going on right now across multiple industries, and there's definitely a reason for some employees to be hesitant. I do understand this is new technology for some of them, and they hear the word AI and they have these notions of like all the crazy movies out there where AI takes over the world. So they already think it's kind of like some kind of evil technology. And it's just a lot about misunderstanding the technology, and it requires education and companies offering skill up opportunities to better understand how these tools are helpful and how the human element is still very important. So it's not taking away very many jobs. It may shift some jobs and open up some new jobs, but everyone's going to have a job. AI is not coming in to take away their job. And I think it just requires better communication across all the different sectors.
Yeah, my advice would be, create a list of the 5 or 6 things you hate most about your job, and then figure out how to use AI to get rid of those things, because that's where the toil is, and it takes the joy out of whatever it is you happen to be doing. There may be things you love doing that AI might do better or help you do better one way or the other, but there's always things that we meant to get to that we never get to because we're spending too much time on this low-level toil that is the thing that fatigues us and makes you tired at the end of the day. And I noticed that on the site, we talked to a bunch of different folks from vertical industries in the last week, and I want to get through some of them and as examples of how AI might be changing things for the better. You had a chat with how AI is being applied to advertising technology. I mean, what did you walk away with from that?
Yeah, absolutely. So AI is allowing a lot better understanding of data in real time. And it's also allowing for customer service in real time via smart chatbots. And there's a lot of companies that are implementing smart chatbots in a variety of ways. And I've seen a lot of them as I'm interacting on websites, everything from banking to healthcare, just making this process more streamlined for customers and the staff alike, as far as sharing of data and just really being more on top of things, better efficiency.
You mentioned customer service, and I had an interview with a outfit that is applying AI in the travel industry with that very issue in mind. And I think part of the problem has been, let's be honest, the bots that people are using on their various websites in lieu of a customer service person they stink. Let's be fair. I mean, it's just not a great experience. And the problem is that the responses are all canned. And I think as we get further along here, we're going to see Gen AI be able to have more context in terms of what the question is being asked. And you'll be able to iterate on the questions you're asking to get to the answer that you're looking for. I think that whole experience is going to improve dramatically. And I wonder, if we're going to see that across every vertical industry that has any kind of customer-facing application. It seems to be a common theme.
I do think we will. And I know, like I said, more and more sectors are embracing it. And sometimes I have to wait like 20 minutes to get a real person to help me when I'm struggling on a site. So if we can get more advanced AI to help right away, and there's no wait time, and we're able to train it to be, to sound more human-like and to really be helpful, that'll be great for the customer.
And I noticed you also had an interview with somebody in the finance industry talking about some similar issues involving customer service, but what else are they doing with AI?
Yes, absolutely. So I did recently speak with someone from PKF O'Connor Davies who was talking about how they are harnessing AI in the financial and banking industries. And there's a lot of uses for it as far as data analytics and better management of their data, document handling between departments, and as well as improving the customer efficiency when it comes to questions that their clients have. So there's a lot of solutions that they're looking into and implementing across the banking and financial sectors.
Yeah, I got to tell you, there's a lot of regulations. Even as a customer, you see this stuff and your eyes cross. And I'm just hoping that a small little capability like, hey, give me a summarization of what it is you're trying to tell me in this 30-page report that some regulatory body made you send me. But I can't really understand what's happening in here until somebody creates some level of a summary that tells me this is my action item of the day. And everybody's action item is slightly different. So I don't think you can get that in the current level of reports. And I'm hoping that, a lot of the work for creating the reports in the first place is automated, but B, there's things in there that matter to people. They just get buried. So I'm hoping that AI will surface that stuff.
Absolutely. It certainly speeds up the process when, they don't have to read through hundreds of pages and can just get a good summary and move forward with the decision-making process.
All right. Speaking of reading hundreds of pages of things, there's teachers out there that are reading essays and all kinds of stuff and checking quizzes and whatnot. And it looks like we can apply AI to help those teachers out because not everybody can get their own personal teaching assistant like they do in some of the higher end colleges. And so the next thing you know, professors and even grade school teachers are overwhelmed. So AI might be helping them out as well in a way that, and maybe it changes the role of the TA, but frankly, we don't have enough of those anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I know back in the beginning, a lot of teachers, and maybe still there are a lot of teachers, they were on the fence with utilizing AI and whether or not, on both sides of it, whether or not they want their students using AI was a big issue at first with teachers. And now I see more of them are harnessing the tool and realizing it's actually helping the students learn better and more quickly. And then now the teachers, now that they've gotten past that issue, are looking at how can we harness this for ourselves to speed up, grading, tests, the tests, being able to grade tests more quickly, being able to read and edit essays, and just genuinely helping with processes in general for, different software that they can use.
And the more static the data is, the easier it is for AI to work with it. And I'm bringing this up because there are issues with AI, right? Especially around hallucinations, and it's imperfect. So we need to have humans kind of review all this stuff before we present it to somebody as absolute gospel that you should go act on immediately. But we have seen it get misused in some court cases here and there already in ways that embarrass people and wound up getting them sanctioned by various judges. I think the important thing here is to check, right? I mean, it's a tool. It's not something that I can just kind of lean back and part of our human nature is we get too comfortable sometimes with the machines doing something and we don't check it. And the next thing you know, some teacher is reading about how Napoleon wrote Crime and Punishment or something, and it gets all kind of messed up. And then they, throw everything out. So I feel like, going back to the beginning of our conversation around worker angst, they're not really fully appreciating that AI needs to be supervised. It's not going to be just left on its own. Somebody has to kind of get in there and look at this result and say, hey, does this thing make sense? And is this the actual result we were looking for? What do you think? Are we all going to be turned into AI supervisors?
Well, there definitely is that human element. And I think we're a long way from AI being as smart as humans and being able to just let it run and trust everything. So definitely the humans are going to need to be there. There's going to be a lot of positions open up, I feel like, just on the training side and verifying that everything is accurate. And that's going to be a process that lasts for quite a while, as I think we're a long way from just letting it run by itself.
Right. And then lastly, we have seen some advances in terms of how AI will be used to manage IT. We're seeing Couchbase has come up with a tool that will help you write some code that can be used to manage the entire database process. And this is happening all through IT. Mainly, you're seeing initially a lot of companies are taking their product literature and the service and support stuff and throwing it into ChatGPT to provide those summarizations we talked about before. Because, well, if you've ever sat down and read some of the documentation that they provide, it too will make your eyes cross. And I feel like, we're all worried about AI and IT jobs specifically, but again, I'm not seeing AI actually do the job. It kind of helps me figure out how to do the job faster and presents me with a script, but somebody still has to check the script again and then implement the automation framework that actually makes something happen. So I don't know. I think working in IT might become a better job than it has been historically because, as cool as IT is, let's be honest, there's a lot of scut work in IT that nobody really wants to do. And they spend an inordinate amount of time doing manual stuff that there's no joy. So, I mean, do you think we can get to the point where, not everybody loves their job, but I'm hoping AI might get us to a point where we hate our jobs less. How's that?
Yeah, I agree. And just because of everything you said, I'm seeing a lot of people going back to school in their later years. They're going back to school to learn how to use AI in different ways. And they're going back into IT fields too, or, getting, furthering their education with any of those sectors, because that is I think that's the way of the future. And there are a lot of job openings in that area.
All right. I'm going to shift the gear a little bit here because, well, there is something I hate to do that I'm hoping AI will help out with. It's called shopping. Yes, I know some of you like shopping and you use the phrase retail therapy and everything else, but there's large swaths of us, probably more males than females, who do not care for shopping. And so there's two cool things in the world. Amazon's talking about a personal shopper that's built on AI, and MasterCard has something similar in mind as well. I think this could be great. I don't mind Christmas shopping, but as far as shopping for myself goes, I'm pretty much, this is the last thing on my list to do. And therefore, I will admit that I'm probably wearing stuff that my wife would wish I would throw away, but then I'd have to go shopping to find something to replace it. So my closet is full of all kinds of stuff from from fashion eras that I occasionally pull out from time to time, much to her chagrin. But what's your sense of these shopping tools that we're starting to see?
I think it's helpful. And while it's helpful for the customer, it's especially helpful for the company putting this out because they're upselling. I mean, at the end of the day, they're getting a great return on investment because this technology is helping to upsell. It's making the shopping so easy that the customers are probably going to buy more than they initially might have if they didn't receive the help. And not to mention, they leave some stuff in the cart, they forget, then they're reminded about it, given some, advice on things to add in with it. And now that they're getting all the real-time chat assistant help with everything from like colors or whatever support that they need, I think that companies are going to see a lot more sales, a big sales jump.
All right, folks. Well, each of you naturally have your own opinion about AI, and it will affect people positively and negatively. And there are lots of things out there that we should definitely not be using AI to accomplish, including some perhaps negotiation issues and whatnot, and things that are a little more complex that will always require a human. But I would say, to quote FDR, hey, got nothing to fear but fear itself. Amanda, take us home.
All right. Well, I want to thank our audience today and stay tuned. We're going to be putting out this episode once a week, and we have lots to talk about in the AI world as this technology advances rapidly.